Bonner got vocal, Mitchell started chirping. And when Sophie Cunningham joined the squad in that off-season trade, it was game over for the soft label. Therefore, when Clark sat out against the Mystics, the team didn't panic. They knew exactly what to do, because Caitlin's impact goes deeper than box scores and highlight reels. She's not just scoring 20 points a night, she's reshaping the identity of the franchise. When Kiki Iriafen body-slammed Sophie Cunningham, that wasn't just a foul, it was a challenge. And the Fever answered, not with tears or complaints, but with defense, free throws, and fire. Because when Mystics rookie Kiki Iriafen tried to bully Sophie Cunningham with a full-body slam, she didn't break her, she woke her up.
Bonner hits the floor, no whistle. Shot too strong there from Olsen. Cunningham pulled it down. Here's that feistiness. Debbie, this is a preseason game, and I know it wasn't announced that Caitlin Clark wouldn't play until right before. This is a preseason game where Clark is not available, and yet you probably have 10,000 people here and a real home court advantage.
Sophie hit the ground hard, but got up even harder. She didn't just shrug it off, she clapped back.
But no doubt about it, the Indiana Fever have another star.
Aaliyah Boston got physical in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell found her groove. And the crowd, they came alive. Not for Caitlin Clark this time, but for a team that refused to be bullied again. Because last year, this squad would have backed down. This year, they fought back. The Mystics didn't know what hit them. Their 15-point lead disappeared before halftime. Their game plan, intimidate, dominate, and walk out with an easy preseason win, exploded in their faces. But the dirty play didn't stop. Later, Brittany Sykes shoved Cunningham to the floor again. And this time, it wasn't just Sophie standing up, it was the whole Fever bench. That one moment exposed everything.
You know, like Paige Buchers?
No, she's okay. I didn't see her playing the women's NBA, so.
She just got drafted, #1, Dallas.
He used to play in Dallas, which is where Paige Buchers plays.
Luka, one of the most respected basketball minds in the NBA, couldn't even pretend Paige was in the same conversation as Caitlin Clark, and he didn't need stats or long-winded takes. His body language said it all. Caitlin Clark has arrived, Paige Buchers hasn't even started, so why is the media still trying to force this rivalry? Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark isn't just good, she's a phenomenon. She led the NCAA in assists twice. You can't fabricate record-breaking trading card sales, primetime ratings, or MVP chants in visiting arenas. Caitlin Clark turned the WNBA into must-watch TV. She turned sports blogs into battlegrounds. She turned casual fans into loyal viewers. And she did it in less than a year.
A lot of Caitlin Clark fans, and so many of them are not white. It's just insulting to assume that that's the case to the people that aren't white, to the Black Americans that do love Caitlin Clark.
The Indiana Fever just played their first preseason game without Caitlin Clark, and I have to say, I was thoroughly impressed with this new look Fever team. They didn't have their point guard and best player in this game, so these players had to come together and spontaneously on the spot figure out a way to win this game, and they did it. And the fact that they were able to do that tells me a whole lot about this team.
But here's what no one expected. They didn't collapse. They fought back. And they won. The Fever didn't just survive without Caitlin Clark, they thrived. Cunningham dropped 21 points after getting slammed to the floor. They shot 96% from the free throw line. They clawed back from double digits. They forced overtime.
Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull, these two players. Sophie Cunningham gave us 21, Lexie Hull gave us 13. The Blonde Bombers is what they're calling them. We were down 15 in the first half. Why were we down 15? We cut it to within 3.
And in OT, Sophie Cunningham took over. She delivered the knockout blow, literally and figuratively.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog.
However, before the season begins, Clark was involved in a major news headline that featured a 6-figure price tag. Clark's edition of the 2024 Piani Prism WNBA Throwback Signatures Golden Vinyl Card has been officially sold.
The WNBA is changing. The audience is growing. The metrics are real. The resistance is loud. But so is Caitlin's game. And if you think Luka Doncic is the only one watching, think again. Because the league, the fans, and the future already know who's leading the next chapter. It's not the player the media told you to love. It's the one who made you watch. I haven't seen her in the WNBA, which is the polite way of saying she hasn't done anything yet. But Caitlin has, and she's only getting started. That's why this matters, because the moment Luka made his pick, he didn't just validate Clark's greatness, he exposed the fear behind the media's narrative. The fear that women's basketball is no longer something they can control, that the new face of the league isn't someone they anointed, that she doesn't fit neatly into their boxes, activist or quiet, political or palatable, legacy or outsider.
It's not that, it's that.
You see Sophie Cunningham had a hold of Sykes' arm, but Sykes is going to claim she was holding me.
I would say
we're going to learn that Sophie isn't always innocent, but...
Teammates swarmed in. Veteran forward DeWanna Bonner got in Sykes' face. The Fever had drawn a line. You hit one of us, you hit all of us.
She completely threw Sophie Cunningham.
They beat the Mystics in overtime without Caitlin Clark after getting physically attacked for 4 quarters straight. And the WNBA took notice. But let's not forget how we got here. Just last season, Indiana was the league's punching bag. Caitlin Clark's arrival didn't immediately fix that. If anything, it made things worse. Opposing players have gone after her game after game, targeting her with flagrant fouls, hard screens, and even off-the-ball body checks. At first, Clark took it all. She got up, she smiled, she didn't retaliate. But over time, something changed. The Fever started to rally around her.
He came out very slow, very lethargic, very stuck in the mud, very dragging ass, didn't have energy to him, didn't have flow to him.
Their offense was broken, their defense was scattered. The arena was silent. All 12,000 fans stunned, watching a team with no rhythm, no energy, no Clark.
Stephanie White seemed frustrated. We were down 15. Stephanie White called the timeout, and she must have stuck her foot up her team's ass and said, you see this arena? You see all these fans that came to watch you guys? 12,461 people. They didn't come to watch you guys bullshit. They didn't come to watch you guys drag ass. Let's play some defense and let's get it together offensively.
But what came next flipped the game, and maybe the entire season, upside down. She's just Caitlin, and she wins. So when you see outlets scrambling to prop up Paige, when you hear excuses about Olympic breaks and rookie fatigue, when you hear the noise about problematic fan bases and undeserved hype, just remember, this is what disruption looks like.
Second chapter of the Caitlin Clark era in the WNBA will commence soon. Clark established herself as a superstar in her rookie season with the Indiana Fever and will now lead a championship hopeful team into year 2.
Sophie Cunningham is taking a beating this game. Gosh, this is going to make big time news because now this proves there is an agenda against the Indiana Fever. There is an attack agenda against the white women on the Indiana Fever basketball team. I'm calling it right now.
Therefore, what started as a preseason scrimmage quickly turned into a full-blown statement. And here's where it gets wild. Without Caitlin Clark, Indiana didn't just hold their own, they played better.
And immediately the vets are telling the so obviously Dawson's there waving at Fever.
This wasn't just about Cunningham. It wasn't just about Clark. It was about the new Indiana Fever, a team that has officially stopped asking for respect and started taking it. So what happens now? Clark's return is looming. She's expected to rejoin the lineup soon, refreshed, healthy, and ready. But the dynamics have changed. She's no longer the only one fighting. She's surrounded by warriors, by teammates who will stand up for her and for each other. That's dangerous, that's scary. She didn't just shrug it off, she clapped back.
But no doubt about it, the Indiana Fever have another star. All right? Just this quick, Sophie Cunningham, and I told you guys I had a feeling that she was going to really make her presence known.
On the court and on the scoreboard, that flagrant foul flipped a switch. Suddenly, Sophie went from quiet contributor to full-blown enforcer. She started torching the Mystics from every angle, Lexie Hull turned into a defensive machine.
I was also really impressed with Lexie Hull. She had 4 steals in this game. She had 5 rebounds, 4 assists. She had 13 points. Look, if you're going to have Lexie Hull and Sophie Cunningham as the enforcer type energizing players, the Indiana Fever are about to be unstoppable.
And the whole team sent a message loud and clear. This is not the same soft Fever squad from last year. But here's the twist. Did this dominant performance without Clark actually prove she's replaceable? Or is it just the fire she sparked that's changing everything?
But look, we could talk about the game all day and all night, but what's even better is if we break down some film so you guys can see exactly what I'm referring to.
Players had to say the right things. Fans had to accept what they were told. Then Caitlin Clark came along, and none of that mattered anymore. She broke viewership records. She sold out arenas in cities she didn't even live in. She moved more merchandise than entire franchises. And most importantly, she did it without asking for permission. That's where the panic started. The old guard, including some loud voices in WNBA media, didn't know how to handle her. So instead of embracing the growth, they tried to discredit it. When he shrugged off Paige Beckers, it didn't feel mean. It felt inevitable. Because the truth is, Luka said what the stats, the fans, and the eyeballs have been screaming for months. Caitlin Clark didn't take anyone's spotlight. She built her own. She didn't wait for gatekeepers. She didn't ride legacy coverage. She earned every bit of attention by doing what no one else in women's basketball history has done. She moved the needle and shattered it.
Not only do I not think Paige is going to move the needle, I don't think she's going to flutter it. I don't think it's going to vibrate slightly.
You can't fake that. You can't Photoshop arenas filled with fans in other cities.
So we have to watch this rookie class around the league about load management. It's not just our rookies. We're all going to be tuned in to load management, especially these rookies that played long into their collegiate season. I didn't really see any of the benefit that Caitlin Clark got coming into the season.
Because the truth is, Caitlin Clark's rise has broken the old rules. Before Caitlin, the WNBA was a tight-knit circle, small audiences, predictable coverage, media gatekeepers who decided who got the spotlight and who didn't. But here's what no one expected. They didn't collapse. They fought back. And they won. The Fever didn't just survive without Caitlin Clark, they thrived. Cunningham dropped 21 points after getting slammed to the floor.
Man, what about Sophie Cunningham? I mean, she was getting to the free throw line. She was hitting timely shots. She was getting rebounds. She was playing defense, getting on the ground. She was playing with effort and energy, getting into the other team's face. I mean, she was doing a whole lot, and she is the biggest reason why the Indiana Fever won this game. She was easily the best player on the court.
Sophie Cunningham just got body slammed, and the entire WNBA felt the aftershock. With Caitlin Clark out, the Indiana Fever faced brutal fouls, cheap shots, and one of the dirtiest games we've seen this season.
The Indiana Fever just played their first preseason game without Caitlin Clark, and I have to say, I was thoroughly impressed with this new look Fever team.
Dawn Staley flew 2 members of the committee to South Carolina's opening game in Paris, okay?
So they're calling old guard WNBA fans the committee. These are the same people that is pushing race narratives. These are the same people that is bashing Caitlin Clark. These are the people she's talking about.
But the truth is obvious. The media is scared because Caitlin Clark didn't come through the system. She didn't wait for permission. She became the biggest star in women's basketball on her terms. Sophie Cunningham dropped 21 points.
And I don't know if they're going to end up winning or not, but Sophie Cunningham has been an absolute beast in this game. 34 minutes, 6 of 11 from the field, 54%, 21 points. And she has thrown in, let me just see here, it looks like 8 rebounds. And how many assists does she have? She's got 2 assists. She's been an absolute beast in this game. No doubt about it.
She grabbed 8 rebounds. Lexie Hull chipped in 13 and 4 steals. The Fever hit 27 of 28 free throws. That's 96%. Meanwhile, the media wants us to believe Paige Beckers led the nation in assists. But the receipts tell a different story. She wasn't even top 10. In fact, in her most recent full season, she ranked 63rd. That's not elite. That's not even close.
A reputable basketball publication, Bleacher Report, stating that Paige Beckers led the nation in assists twice in her college career. She has been top 15 once. She was 63rd last year when she led the nation assists. Georgia Amore, who had more assists than Paige, did not lead the nation assists as well. It is literally the media just lying. They are literally just lying.
Even Georgia Amore, who had more assists, was never credited as leading the nation. Why? Because the media needs Paige to be Caitlin's equal. But the numbers don't support that. That flagrant foul flipped a switch. Suddenly, Sophie went from quiet contributor to full-blown enforcer. She started torching the Mystics from every angle, jumpers, drives, threes, and she wasn't alone. Lexie Hull turned into a defensive nightmare, racking up 4 steals and locking down Washington's backcourt. She's not a rookie, she's a prospect, a name, a brand. And the media is banking on her because they're terrified that the WNBA's identity is changing without their control. Even respected insiders like Kurt Miller started throwing out strange excuses, saying Paige wouldn't get the same break Caitlin did during her rookie year. They blamed Olympic scheduling, load management, media pressure, anything to soften expectations before Paige even suits up. But Caitlin didn't get a break. She finished the most watched college game in history, then flew straight to the WNBA draft.
I was like, what in the world? I thought it was a prank.
Without Clark, many assumed the Fever were doomed. After all, this team won just 13 games last year. Clark was supposed to be their savior. So when the news broke that she wouldn't be suiting up, fans groaned, critics smiled, and the Washington Mystics saw an opening. And they didn't wait long to take advantage. From the very first play, the Mystics went full throttle. Hard fouls, trash talk, cheap shots. It was clear they thought the Fever would fold, especially without their star. And for a while, it looked like they were right. Indiana stumbled out of the gate, scoring just 13 points in the first quarter. They trailed by 15. She had no rest, no soft landing. She was thrown into the fire and still led the league in assists. Paige is entering a league that Caitlin rebuilt. And somehow, the media is already making excuses. It doesn't stop there. Some outlets even tried to frame Caitlin's fan base as toxic and problematic, claiming only one group is responsible for hate and harassment.
We know Natalie Esquire, a serial hater when it comes to the Caitlin Clark fan base. She's pretty much a driving force behind a lot of the drama that take place in the media.
You have other people like Sabria Whitaker. You have so many people out there, and people like this, the committee, which is, a group of really, really strong women's basketball fans on Twitter, they have influence.
She just is, she's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. Like, she plays with such a toughness. She's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long. But what she brings from an energy standpoint, she raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline. I mean, her communication, everything. She's definitely an X factor.
Therefore, the question can't be ignored. Did the Fever just prove they're stronger without Caitlin Clark? Or are they only this tough because she's already changed the culture? When the final buzzer sounded, the Indiana Fever didn't just win, they sent a warning.